feel like this topic has so many disclaimers.
But you know, like the thing is,
Hey.
if you find yourself really uncomfortable with this conversation, maybe you're delulu. Maybe too. Welcome to today's episode. My name is Kaylene.
I am Sheela.
Sheela. You know, you've been telling people you're Seller.
What do
you mean everybody knows?
What do I tell people? my mother loved the name Sheela, so she modified it from Sella. So yes, my real name is Sella Aching, but then I go by Sheela.
You just arrived.
Umeingia tu.
Today we'll be talking about situationships. Hey guys, in my specific YouTube, I've talked about situationships for I don't know how many times. I promise you I'm okay. Nico sawa. It's giving problems with relationships. It's giving like I'm trying
stress.
to ask for help.
Yeah, it's giving you're just ranting.
But I'm okay. I'm fine.
Venting to the masses because you can't be out here telling other people your
Nasi
business.
wewe. In case you're thinking it's not you. We're not talking about
It's
anyone
you.
here.
It's you, by the way. When you're in contact na Kaylee, it's you,
Yeah.
baby. Ni wendo umemvunja roho. Call
Wait,
your girl.
Please, let's just go straight into it.
Yes.
What are situationships? Because, you know, let me tell you, sometimes I talk to people, like I'll talk to a guy or I'll talk to a girl. And they're like, you know, I think I'm in a situationship or, oh, I was in a... But then I hear that thing, I'm like, you are not dating? I thought you were dating. They'll be talking there like, I'm like, that's Delulu. You are not in any situation. In fact, you are not anywhere close to the peripheral mind of this guy. You are Delulu. So to be, like, just for the viewer out there to know what exactly is a situationship.
I feel like situationships are basically that. You are delusional, but you're delusional with reason, because you are in a situation. Okay, you lack of a better word. You're in a position where you are more than a friend, but you're also not exclusive. So ini nini? Nika umeoga mwili nusu.
Okay.
Even laughing. It's like you're not all there yet. Like we are in the direction of actually showering to completion, but yeah, it's not there yet. It's not. It's like half cooked eggs.
You've not arrived.
Yeah. You've not arrived. You're in a journey, but the problem is you've set up
Journey
your
to
tent.
what you don't know.
You've set up your tent and you've pitched it up, and now you guys are just sitting in the desert enjoying the sand dunes. That's what it is. Because atuna mwelekeo, we're just going round in circles. In circles. Yes, the friendship is vibes, but then when it comes to the things that we are doing in the said friendship, it becomes it's not even uncomfortable. It's giving uncertainty, it's giving stress, it's giving confusion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Confusion is like the main word to use in this whole experience. I feel like you mentioned it earlier, like it's more than a friendship, less than a relationship.
Yeah.
Like you're just in between. Ugh, it's so icky. It's icky. What is a trauma bond? Because we'll be talking about the two of those things and how they relate to each other, because those people are sisters. They look like this.
Besties.
Eh?
Besties.
Those ones, heavy.
Easy. Because
So-
the only way a situationship can... Okay. Again, don't come for me. Please. I'm just saying my experience. Don't come.
It's like you've seen the masses throwing tomatoes.
Wait. Me, I'm scared of social media. How many times does I say
She's just
this
arrived.
podcast thing is just the Lord? You know, say I'm scared of social media, please. Anyway, please don't come for me. Please, I'm just a girl. So, just a girl. Anyway, so this situationship thing has to work hand in hand with trauma bond. Why? Because in an active like relationship that is involved with love, like the fuel behind the relationship is love, there is a said direction. Automatically, inevitably, I will want to grow old with you. I will want to do taxes with you. I will want to figure out my work with you. But when it comes to a trauma bond, we mistake the fuzzy feeling of comfort for love. We are comfortable in that pain. So I automatically found somebody that helps ease the pain. He or she isn't helping me grow out of it. He or she is helping me suspend the pain for a few moments, hours, days, maybe, even months. But then there is no set direction. If anything, the relationship only thrives when I'm in pain. The relationship doesn't thrive when I'm outside
when you're
of
not
pain.
When you're not in that pain, or when you're not in that thing that you guys came together for, you actually realize you don't even know this person.
Exactly, and we have nothing in common. Or if we do have things in common, it's very little.
Yeah.
We don't have things to actually... You're not my friend, basically. We are not friends.
Just share.
We just share a lot of pain, and we share a lot of sorrow. We share a lot of heartache.
Before we go deeper into it, because we are about to go deeper. So when I think about it, like, then what are the signs of situationships? Like, looking back in your life, what are some of the things that you look back and you're like, that's a sign? You look at your sister out there going through it and you're like, ew, that's a situationship.
Mpenzi mtazamaji, again, don't come for me. I feel like this topic has so many disclaimers.
But you know, like, the thing is, if you find yourself really uncomfortable with this conversation, maybe you're delulu. Maybe too. Kweli. Because honestly, for me, if I was in that situationship I was in, Nanikuja, I come here on YouTube and I watch this episode, I don't think I would be as happy smiling the way I'm smiling about it right now.
I think we can talk about it because we're still in the process of healing.
Yeah.
We're still healing.
You know,
yeah.
Me, I feel like
lakini
wacha nisiseme I'm healed because Mungu anaweza nishtua hiyo.
Anakuchapa tu na mmoja, wewe sema tu in the process, please. With God you use specific vocabulary.
But point is, like, I was thinking about, like, for me, I think one of the things that you get to know you're in that place where you're not in a relationship, it's more than a friendship, less than a relationship, is when you start hearing words like, you know, you're the only one I'm telling this. Whether you say it or whether the person is telling you this. Now, I know someone is going to come and you're thinking in your head, or I'm thinking about my younger self. Not even my younger self, my delulu self. Like, when you're in it, you're like, platonic friendships. You don't believe in platonic friendships. You don't believe in your head.
I mean, they
Kaylene, keep quiet.
But with a wall of boundaries.
You know?
That's another thing.
Boundaries.
Because if we are sharing this information, you can be the first, but you can't be the only.
Exactly.
Because...
ask yourself, why is this person the only?
Mpenzi mtazamaji, ulisa we mwenyewe, jite mkutano hivi. Ask yourself, madam, mister, mbona huyu mwanadamu amekuteka venye amekuteka mpaka unakuja, you guys just have to be the only one that you're telling. It's not right. Because that way. But what if someone says it's a best friend? Okay. Because I've been for so long. I've been in this situation for so long. You see, if I'm telling my best friend, there's some certain details that I will put in.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that the other people shouldn't know about the situation. So if this person is my said best friend, like let's take for example my homie. If he is of the opposite gender and he knows something, best believe there's somebody else who knows the same thing, maybe with lesser details. Maybe I wasn't comfortable in sharing, but it doesn't mean that I won't eventually come out and tell somebody else. I just feel like in that time when I'm vulnerable, he just needs to be the one to know. But the problem is you can't just divulge to them as well. You see, that's why you need a community of female friendships.
Oh,
A community of
oh God, we need to talk
women.
about female friendships.
Is it elder, older?
Yeah.
Older women.
Yeah.
A community of women, mothers, aunties that can be there for you. Now, I understand in this Kenya, it's not giving.
It's a very tricky
balance.
But it's not impossible, to be honest.
It's not impossible because we have girl best friends.
And
now,
let me tell you guys,
is
like,
a transaction we can work on.
Yes.
So if like me and you, you have a best friend. Senior, I have a best friend, for example. I can tell him as long as I'm also telling you.
Yes.
And we can be, I manishi ati sasa sijambia my best friend, I'm kind of diluting it's keeping safe. Because if it's a transaction of information, one of us is bound to fall into the, how do I put it? Into the tide of, he's the only one who knows, or he's the only one who's caring for me, or
he's the only one who understands.
He's the only one who understands, or
because he's the only one who knows.
He's the only one who knows.
Of course, he'll be the only one who understands.
Exactly.
And for me, I think I'd ask myself, and for me, I think I'm very tough on myself right now because guys. Like, what is the difference? Say your boyfriend was to come in this picture. What is the difference between your best friend and a boyfriend? Like, if you were honest with yourself, if you were to boil it down, what would be the difference? Would the difference just be the title? Then if the difference is the title, then that's really scary. That's very scary. So you mean he can just do whatever he wants?
Please, you're asking deep questions. Please, it's only the voice.
To even go deeper. What is the difference between him and a husband? Because kuna watu hapa wanasema sijui friends with benefits. What do you mean friends with benefits? What is that? What is the difference between that and a husband? If we were honest, is it just the title? Honestly.
Go easy on the crowd.
Like, let's just get out of your delulu. And as I'm saying this, I'll probably, God forbid, but Fred, I will not have to come to this conversation because right now I'm in a place where I'm out of the delulu and I know how it feels to be in that place and position. So I can't. But this is the truth. Ask yourself, okay, Jana, you're working with every day now. You're holding hands. Just find yourself kissing. You just found yourself. Ama you even just thought about it. Ama to you guys just, we're just friends.
Oh my
What
God.
is the difference between that and a boyfriend?
Wait. So that was Kaylene stripping us off completely. Not even giving at a hoot. She's not caring. She doesn't care about your broken hearts, please. Tafakari about. Wapendwa, tafadhali. Check yourself.
Check yourself, please. Check yourself.
Check yourself.
And like, I think one of the things that kind of will help you have a focus of what you're thinking about, or if you're in that situationship, is if you find yourself saying things like what you're saying. Oh, you're the only one. Why should he be the only one? You have Sheela.
You're putting a pedestal. You're giving them accountability. It's like you're making this person accountable for you. You get? So it kind of gives them the pedestal of what a romantic partner would
exactly.
do for you. The only thing is that because there's a lot of trauma and pain in between, both of you are actually aware that this thing won't work.
Yeah.
Because you're not in the right frame of mind.
Yeah.
It's like It's like going on a diet, but also having cheat days. Again, don't come for me. I know cheat days work for specific people, but if you put you on a cheat day, it's really rude.
And you know what I think about this? Because I feel like now trauma bond is kind of where I wanted to get, where I feel like we should get into now, is trauma bonds is basically, let's say you're here, found a boy, he's very, most of the time, guys, I don't know. I guess the guys around me, they are good listeners. But you just find this one person who's a really good listener. They really know how to say the right things. I saw this meme of a woman saying, this is a hack. She's telling the guys, this is a hack to all the guys around you. Send this to them. So basically, she's like, whenever a girl tells you something that's going on in her life, repeat what she said. So, for example, tell me about your life.
I'm happy.
No. Give me something sad.
I'm going through a lot.
You're going through a lot?
I'm going through so much.
Oh my gosh, you're going through so much? Just repeat what they're saying.
Oh my
Imagine, God. She was just saying, like, just repeat what they're saying. Do you get it?
But why do I feel like that means I'm just going, I'm having a conversation with myself. Go away. I'll put somebody else here, a doll, and I'll pretend that's me because I feel like I'm just listening to my... How is that working?
Imagine you say it was working.
Okay, it was working until I realized you're just mirroring what I'm doing.
But there's a way you say it. It's just that I'm not doing it well. Like, there's a way you say it. Imagine. Okay, that's what she's telling people to do. But
has it worked for other people?
Senor.
What do you mean?
That's a good listener. Like, they're repeating, they're echoing. Okay. But Tasha's really giving them the cheat sheet. Because you'll just find... Anyway. Point is...
God have mercy.
Point is, they're good listeners. Musifanye hivyo. Wewe.
That's wrong. Is it wrong?
I
don't know. It's not giving... Because maybe somebody might not be actually
listening. You're just repeating what I'm saying.
Just repeating. So
but imagine when she says it, I'll send you that meme to you. Imagine it works. Like, it helps people. You know, there are people who just are bad listeners in general. Like, you're talking to the hakuna kitu wamesikia. It's just you talking to yourself. And in fact, you come out of that knowing very well there's nothing you've said. It has come here.
It has gone out.
But point is, like, I was just thinking about this. And, like, so there are guys who are really good listeners. And you could be going through a very tough spot in your life. You're going through a lot. And there just happens to be a very good listener that is just there chilling, having a good time. And honestly, in your hearts of hearts, you feel like they understand. Maybe they genuinely have gone through that, or they're also going through it. So it's so easy for the conversation to just spark up,
Yeah.
And because there's no vocabulary like boundaries that goes on around there, you just pour it out and everything. Now, is it wrong to pour it out? I don't think so. I think genuinely sometimes God brings people who in that season and time can be able to walk with you and stuff like that. But without boundaries, you will find yourself in situationships.
I want to know, how do you know that God has sent you this specific person? Because I just be out here telling people everything.
But no, the difference is you're telling people. Now, with this person, you'll be telling him alone. And now, you guys make a bond. There's a bond that you make. And that bond comes from pain,
trauma,
sadness, depression, sorrow,
fear,
heart.
And we are not moving.
At Wendy, we're not going anywhere. And now the thing that comes up now is that's called a trauma bond. It's a bond made out of trauma. And you wonder, you ask yourself, oh my gosh, he understands me, he walks with me. And God help us, because trauma bonds are not really situationship based. They're not just romantically based. But trauma bonds can be made with friendships and cousins and sisters and mothers and fathers and uncles and
literally anyone.
Yeah. But now in this specific context, it's for romantic relationships. And I feel like most of the ways this is made, honestly, is when somebody is going through a lot. And for me, I think we'll talk about solutions later. There are 3 parts to this, so this is just the first part.
But it's making me think, as you are talking, like the way we kept on saying at a relationship based, like you can only view this person in the lens of a romantic partner. Have we put romantic relationships on a pedestal so that we only believe that love can only be shown to me in this specific way? Do you think that's where situationships are coming from? Okay, let's put aside the enmeshment, because enmeshment now involves now you completely depending on this person. But if it was me sharing with you, which I do, you don't feel like I'm dependent on you. You don't feel like you're dependent on me. So why is it that we've only placed romantic relationships on this pedestal where I feel like I'm only oversharing with you because you have to react a certain way. You have to pick up my calls at 3 a.m. You have to drop everything you're doing and attend to me right now.
Yep. Let's call till 6 a.m.
Let's talk till 6 a.m. until my heart calms down. But no, I have feelings for you, bro.
Let's just be honest. And you know the thing with trauma bonds is that you might not even be liking them. You don't. If it was not up to the trauma, you guys wouldn't even be together. You wouldn't even think about it. It's not even somebody you would be looking at per se. But trauma bonds have a way of just
coming. But first of all, trauma also has a way of just attracting somebody else that has gone through the same situation. Now, I'm not shaming anybody that has gone through the same trauma, but I don't want to also say law of attraction, but you get what I'm saying. You accept the love that you think you deserve. You will be placed in situations where you will find yourself doing things or saying things, basically repeating cycles. That's where cycles come from. So you find yourself doing cyclic things and then you back to the same position. So the same things your mother went through, the same things your sister went through, you find yourself going through the same situation, just a different font.
And you find this year you had one situation, next year you find another one. If you're lucky. Next year is a lot. There are people 3 months. 3 months.
Hey, umeamua tu kushout. And genuinely, you have just decided to shout. No, I thought this was the first episode, so I thought that we are breaking it slowly for the guys. But no, you're not just coming gently. You've taken your nice Red Bull. You are now full throttle. Chana. Hey. My God.
But it's honestly like, it's true. And may God rebuke. I rebuke any people to get into a relationship through trauma bond. Go and help your people.
Because
and we're not saying that when you go through trauma that now you sit down with yourself. That's like the worst thing to do to yourself, right? We are saying, if you're here and you're looking at us and maybe you just have that one guy in your life who understands you and one girl. Yes, one guy, one girl. And there's just one person you're telling all these things. And for sure, the people around your life don't understand you. Your aunties don't understand you. Your mommy is not understanding you. Your father, don't try about look there. No one is understanding you. Your siblings, your, uncles and whatever, they don't understand you. And for sure, you don't have good female friendships and stuff like that. I think this is the place to ask God to help you. Because even for me, I won't lie, like I didn't have female friendships. Or rather, I did not see them valuable. I didn't see it, so of course I didn't look for it.
Girlies be betraying one another.
Because I was friends with you, Sheela, at that time. Yeah. But to be honest, I don't think I was thinking about it that much.
We didn't.
I would rather run to that boy.
We were suffering the same things. We'd rather.
Tunafunga macho. So now that you know you need your girlies, please pray for it. Pray for your girlies, please, because they have such a big. Pray for homies, boys, because like you need community around you. Like how you can't work this alone, and you can't work this with one person. Please, let's be honest. Unless it's your husband, please. Even when he's your husband, please.
You can't work alone, both of you.
Yes. We need a community. And this is the same thing. Like, this is where even cheating comes from, to be honest. They come through trauma bonds. You and your wife, you may argue, but somebody understands your feelings. They understand. Kama mulianza trauma bonds mkiwa huko before marriage, what sembuse when you're in marriage?
Different fonts. Not
Same
you casually
WhatsApp.
dropping sembuse. Please, you've become an honorary lawyer. But yeah, it becomes different fonts. I see what you're saying now. So we need to figure out a way to actually birth new and healthy, loving relationships.
And it is possible, guys.
It's possible.
I prayed and God answered.
True.
And there's still prayers I'm still making that. Because sometimes you can't have the community behind you, but you don't see it because you're in your delulu. You're still saying, oh, I need to have a best friend. You don't understand. You can still be platonic and me. You still have those things because it's here in your head. Please get out of that delulu. But I pray, I really pray. It's a prayer for me that you get to that place of a genuine community and not a community that brings you down, because I know that many people have gotten into communities and they hurt them and we'll talk about that in some of the episodes. We'll talk about healthy church, we'll talk about the manipulations in the church, and even people who proclaim that Christian toxic friendships,
especially that, because I feel like that's what's plaguing us as a generation. That makes us just zero in on one person, because you feel like, oh, I can trust somebody else with that, because peer gossip is at an all-time high. You're just sitting betraying your friend. You weren't. Sometimes I don't even think we are aware that we are betraying our friends because we've been seeing it with the previous generation. Somebody comes and tells you something and you promise somebody something. They promise never to share it. And I think it's not even loyalty, privacy, because you're not comfortable with other people. This person that you're with just happens to be very private about specific things.
Yes.
So you go airing out issues and people aren't ready about it.
Yeah.
So how am I expected to trust you? We are going to talk about all of that, because I think some of those are the catalysts that actually talk people into thinking, I really need
maybe
this
just
person.
one person.
I just
okay.
need one person. I can't trust anybody else. I trusted people, especially with our groups of mothers. You tell them, ma, please usiende waambie mtu. Family reunion. Nasikia mamako aliniambia. Alikuwa ameniambia lakini usijali.
And it's because also in the community that we've grown up with, kind of female friendships and community friendships have been. That's why you find men being lone rangers.
Ooh,
you get, because they would rather just be alone and than to be talked about with a whole community about one thing that I trusted you with.
Yeah.
And we will talk about that. But the truth is, you can't. They're both problems.
Yeah,
you're not being and it is possible. Yeah. It is very possible. It is very possible to be in a very loving community that cares about you, that works holding your hands, that does not gossip you, that genuinely hear the voice of God. They know when you're being delulu and can graciously get you out of that delulu together. We would like to ask you this question. Are you, after hearing this, are you in a situationship?
I feel like you are. You're denying it, sis. Baby, you're denying, and it's okay. Me, imagine me, I'm here. I'm the soft launch of this operation. Don't listen to Kaylene. Look instinctively.
Look at her eyes.
Look at me. It's giving. You know that means baby, look at me. I love you, okay? Why are you doubting me?
Anyway, watch out for part 2 of Situationships. We'll be talking about gaslighting, love bombing, beautiful words that are here in our times. Amazing words. Those ghosting. We are going to talk about that in our next episode. Wow. See you guys and bye.